everyone, welcome to BeMoYu Talks with Lesego. So today I am talking to Meliour Simms from who's actually she calls herself a holistic tooth fairy. So she's the kind of tooth fairy who helps you keep your teeth. So we were introduced to tooth fairies as kids, um, only though after you lost the tooth, then you get introduced to the tooth fairy. So yeah, so this one is different, and she's a teeth healer, holistically, and yeah. Um, can you introduce yourself, how you got into this industry? Because I find it fascinating that um, I didn't know this industry existed actually until I went through something myself, and then I was like, oh, okay, here's a new world. How do we,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, how do we do this?
Yes. So, well, I don't have a background in professional dentistry or health. I've done all sorts of other things, been a policy analyst, a researcher, an artist, all sorts of jobs, but I always had really terrible teeth. And then, you know, even though I was going to the dentist regularly and following the dentist's advice, it never occurred to me that there was any alternative way to deal with teeth until about, gosh, must be about 8 years ago now. I was going to the dentist for what would have turned out to be my 7th root canal. And I know, I had really bad teeth.
Okay.
And finally something like clicked in my brain and went, this is not sustainable. I'm not going to have any teeth left if I don't change the way I'm dealing with this. So I went home from the dentist and started looking for alternative complementary health approaches. And there wasn't anyone like me around. And so I had to order books. There weren't even like really detailed websites, and there wasn't much social media back then. And so I started reading books and trying the recommendations on my own teeth. And then I didn't need that root canal, and I was able to take really good care of them and turn around cavities and heal my tooth decay. And excuse me. And as I learned more and practiced more, people kept asking me for advice, like how I was doing it. And then about 3.5 years ago, I decided to start coaching people as the holistic tooth fairy. I started this online business. So I coach people all over the world, all online on Zoom calls like how we're talking now, and help them with holistic strategies for teeth and gum healing.
Oh, wow. That's a beautiful journey. We have quite a few things in common. The back teeth, history of back teeth, and being in the industry that we are in coaching, and what I'm doing right now, purely because of experience and finding your own healing, and then people asking, how did you do it? And then you start a company from that. So regarding terrible teeth,
Yes.
I have been visiting a dentist not because I want to. So since the age of, I think, 7, I've had bad teeth from a very young age. As we speak, I have a few I think I had 3 root canals.
Okay.
I also thought, yeah, I'm also losing teeth. What is going on? I can't, because it even affected my front teeth.
Oh, okay.
I even had, and as we continue in the interview, I'll tell you more about how I actually attracted you, because I don't believe in mistakes. So how I attracted you, how I found you online.
Yes.
So about a month ago, during a full moon, I think a week after the full moon, I had swollen gums, and it was excruciating pain. I could not
Mm.
anything. So I am currently pregnant, so the dentist can't do much for me. So there's nothing they can do. So I thought, what is an alternative way of healing my gums, finding more about how to take care of my teeth, because I have a terrible background with teeth.
Yeah.
Just a year ago, I entered a beauty pageant with no front teeth. I don't know how I managed to get through to the next round, but that's a story for another day. I'm just giving you a background of bad teeth that I have
Mm-hmm.
experience with. So I knew that physically and metaphysically there's some type of there's some connection. So I went in and I found your article. So when I researched, it's called Spiritual Reasons for Gum Disease. So that's what I found, because I think I Googled something along those lines, the meaning of gum issues. And oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, you broke it down in that article on why you probably have, because I think I accepted that I don't want to say I had gingivitis, but I accepted that I had gingivitis. But it could be for a number of reasons, pregnancy and other things. So tell me the first question, because there's a whole lot of, I have so much. So what are
Yeah.
the physical, metaphysical reasons for gum disease?
So different people will have different metaphysical influences. So metaphysical can be emotional, psychological, energetic, spiritual, it could be ancestral, and it can be as simple as stress. And so it depends on what's going on in your life. I can't easily give a blanket answer to that question without knowing more about what's going on, but certainly pregnancy can have an influence, both for physical reasons, because it's very physically depleting for your teeth and gums to be growing another human inside you, but also for metaphysical reasons because of the emotional demands of motherhood, and especially if you are still working or taking care of other children or managing a move or a complicated life situation, and dealing with a pregnancy as well, that can play out in your gums by cutting off the dentinal flow. So dentinal flow is what drives the regenerative processes that are happening all the time in a healthy body to regenerate the enamel in your teeth, to regenerate the gum tissue, to regenerate the jawbone. And dentinal flow gets blocked by stress. So the flow stops and that regeneration stops. And so minimizing stress will help to support your gum health. But also the gums can represent things like suppressed emotions. So often when people have receding gums, it's because they're not expressing or even acknowledging difficult or strong emotions, and that tension between the feelings that they're not allowing to be felt, released, expressed, and just trying to carry on as normal, the gums kind of retract in this I've got to hold things together kind of way. They tighten up, they get smaller. So that's one aspect. Swollen gums could be like a sense of overwhelm, a feeling like there's too much responsibility, too many demands, too many expectations, and that the gums embody that feeling of overwhelm and that feeling of too much by swelling up. So the way that I work, I much prefer to work in ongoing one-on-one coaching
Okay.
relationship, because it's very hard to make generalizations, and it's really going to be very personal to you what your reasons are, and while there might be similarities and overlaps with other people's reasons for the same kinds of symptoms, your story is unique, you're unique, and your body's response is unique. So
that is very true. Okay. There's a lot that you spoke about the when your gums recede, and that means you're contracting. So currently, you are part of a series called Healing Your Emotional Body, and so I just thought this is how God works. When you say you want to talk about something, you're dealing with something, and then it comes up in your body and it just shows up, and that's just how God works. There's no other way one can explain it. So I didn't find it surprising that my teeth started swelling up immediately when I started working in that part. You know, immediately when I started saying, okay, this is what I'm working on, and this is the series that I'd like to start. So when this came up, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't. Okay. Plus, it dealt with a few things that I'm going through personally. Like I said, I have a background of terrible teeth, and there's something in the article that I read that spoke about ancestral history regarding your teeth, and it only made sense because so I grew up a child who's not very confident, and teeth speak a lot about confidence because that's the thing that shows up first. So anything that's on your face, your teeth speaks about confidence. So I never believed that I was beautiful from a very young age. I don't know who said what to me, but I know that I never believed that I was, and it affected, and I kept on suppressing my feelings as I was growing up, hence the teeth, hence losing the teeth, hence the plague. Besides the fact that I was brushing my teeth and I was actually taking care of my teeth hygienically, but there's quite a few things that came up, especially in my mother's side. So there's a lot, quite a few things, some things like family secrets. So when you have problems with your teeth, you have a burden. Basically, your teeth. How do I say it? Like
your teeth carry an emotional burden on your behalf.
Yes. So when your teeth break, when your gums get swollen, and all sorts of things, we just take it lightly that I should probably take care of my teeth, and that's not true. There's family secrets, there's ancestral, there's a whole lineage behind it, and so another question is, how do gums relate to your teeth? Like I just mentioned, ancestral. So let's talk about me, because you can't generalize, and hopefully this will assist somebody else. So I'm your client and I come to you. I had self-confidence issues, and I had a gap between my teeth. I think when I put up this video, I'll have a picture of myself with my old teeth. I had a beautiful gap between my teeth, but I didn't like it. And I prayed. I literally, as a kid, I was praying away the gap, praying that miraculously my teeth would come together, and that never happened. And then finally, one morning, I woke up and my gums were swollen. Went to the dentist, and when I got there, the dentist told me, if you had bitten an apple one more time, your teeth were gonna get stuck in the apple, and you were not gonna have front teeth. So you must thank your teeth, for your gums, for being swollen, because they saved you from a huge embarrassing moment. And as a young girl, that is huge. So my worst fear was having dentures and all sorts of things. Now now I was stuck with that. Now I'm the girl who has dentures and I had to face that. So how do teeth relate, back to that question, how do your gums
Yes.
and teeth relate to the your healing, your emotional healing?
Yes. So as I said, the teeth and the gums will carry the emotional burden of what you don't express. So whether it's ancestral, family, from your childhood, from your adult past, from your current situation, if there are toxic relationships or secrets that are harmful to hold on to, if there are unprocessed memories, painful emotions, you know, it's different for everyone. The content is different for everyone, but your body holds on to it. And for those of us who have issues with our teeth and gums, this is the part of the body that holds on to it. Some people it's their gut, some people it's, you know, their skin. It'll play out in different people's bodies in different ways. But for those of us who have a lot of issues in our mouth, that's where we hold on to these unresolved emotional or spiritual issues that we need to heal. And so in the process of healing our teeth and gums, we need to identify those unresolved, unrecognized issues and allow the feelings to be felt. That is how you release them. You cannot heal without having those feelings float in and through you. Now, it doesn't have to mean that you know, spend a week in bed sobbing because you didn't cry when you were a kid. It can be just like an energetic shift. But what you can't do is just ignore it and say, I'm going to continue to not deal with those problems and just focus on the physical to heal this, because those even if you can address the physical problem, say by pulling out the teeth, the emotional burden will just shift to a different part of your mouth or a different part of your body. So you have to do the work.
Yeah, you have to do the work. So talking about doing the work, there's quite a lot of things that I found from that article. Well, it led me to do so much research around teeth. So, there's also a video, and by the way, I'll put in the links of the article and the video that I saw, that I just kept on finding more information from one article to the next. So you work using teeth meridians or mouth meridians, and I was looking at the where my gums were swollen immediately, because I've got and I wanted to find out what exactly is happening. I really wanted to do, because emotional healing is identifying and allowing yourself to feel the feelings so that you're able to deal with the feelings and move on from there and find a solution for yourself. So I found out that it was close to my canines, and towards my molars on my left upper. And now, because I have a history with the front ones as well, but I wanted to focus only on anger, because the emotional healing that we're dealing with is anger. So I found out that the canines, actually, that's where we store a lot of our anger, resentment, frustration, blaming, and not taking action. And that's exactly what we've been focusing on this month. And I found it amazing that so I do Qigong as well. I teach Qigong. I have Qigong classes. So I didn't know that there were mouth meridians. I was like, what? So this is my type of language in the first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And immediately I found the the pain associated with the canines is liver and the gallbladder.
Mhm.
And on the first episode, we went through that affirmations and what to do, how to actually take care of your liver, your eyes. It actually affects your ovaries as well. So that also, and I'm pregnant, and I have also a beautiful history with my with my womb. So besides the teeth, I have a beautiful history
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
my womb as well. So, and I found
Mhm.
it fascinating that when I'm going through this type of healing, this is what's coming up, and it's
Mhm.
liver and all that. So,
Yeah.
um, yo, how how explain more about the meridians, right? The mouth meridians, maybe
Sure.
going in, just talking about the liver. How would you, from a mouth healer point of view, how would you then assist in aiding the emotions of anger, resentment, frustration that are associated with the liver, gallbladders, and eyes?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Um, so it's good to talk about what the source of the anger is and really go back further and further back. So not just what is like making you angry now, but what that reminds you of. What's the first time that you can remember anything like that? What's the first time you felt that angry, that red hot, overwhelming rage emotion? Because most of us connected with anger for the first time when we were toddlers, and it was really for most of us shut down. We were
Mhm.
really taught to behave and received consequences for expressing that anger, and then that becomes a family lineage, particularly for women and girls, that our anger is shut down as a really unacceptable emotion for women and girls to
Mm.
feel and express. Um, so looking for the origin, and then allowing that energy of pure kind of self-righteous
Mm.
anger of the 2-year-old, the tantruming 2-year-old,
Yeah.
allowing that to be physically embodied, to do the stomping and the yelling and the I don't want to, no, 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 no. Playing with that, because you're an adult now, and it's not about directing it at anyone, and it's not about going into the story about what makes you angry necessarily. Sometimes that's another
Mhm.
part of it, but really to release it from how it's stuck in the body. It's stuck in the mouth here. We have to get it flowing out. And so moving your body, stomping your feet on the earth, shaking, screaming, vigorous motions, that's all a form of energetic release. That is what helps get the stuck emotion out of your body. So anyone can do that. You can do that. You don't have to have a therapist. Just
Sure.
go into a quiet room where you won't scare anyone and just let rip.
There's an
Very healing.
there's an actual exercise in qigong where
Yeah.
you actually shake out your anger, your
Yes.
frustration, and it's one of my favorite exercises. I always include it in all my classes, and I always
Yeah.
advise my clients that immediately when you feel frustrated in the office or whatever, remember, if
Yeah.
there's one thing 2-year-olds are brilliant at, is throwing
Yes.
a tantrum. And how
Yes.
they did it is that they shake their hands, stomp their feet, and just go. So exactly what you just described. It's an
Exactly.
actual it's an actual exercise that you can do, and it takes about 5 minutes, and you feel so much better because you're releasing
Mm-hmm.
whatever that energy, the anger energy out. So that's
Yeah.
all. That's all you have to do. And I find it fascinating, all the things that you're talking about regarding find out where the source of anger is. We spoke about that, and even with I spoke to a herbalist as well, who advised the same thing. So it's essentially, it doesn't matter where it's stuck in your body and how you release
Yeah.
it, but it's the
Yes.
same exercises that you have to do. Ask, especially the
Yeah.
whole question of ask it why it's here, because you get triggers of that particular emotion. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
for example, I would have a conversation with you, and then I get reminded of, wait, because I actually saw this when I was reading one of your articles, that socially, spiritually, and personally, experiences, especially Black people, women, the LGBT
Yeah.
community, they store a lot of their anger, and they don't express it that much, because we think justice and inequality is something to just, it's something very light. So I'm mentioning this because I used to have a history with white women, like management,
Mm.
with managers, and I'd be triggered a lot. Um,
Ah,
I'd be triggered, and every time I speak to a white woman who's a manager, I'd be triggered. And I asked myself, what is this thing? Why am I attracting? And then after asking this question, I actually
yeah.
I got a, I got a response from, during meditation, where I
Yeah.
actually had an actual memory. I literally was watching a movie of my life, seeing the very first interaction with a white woman, what happened, and this. So I understand asking that question, what is the source
Yeah.
of my
Yes.
anger?
Yes.
Because I mean, I would literally sabotage myself and not make money because I would have an interview with you, for example, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd just be triggered. I'm like, oh, this woman is just questioning me. She's not listening to me. She's just questioning
Mm.
everything that I'm doing. So it would trigger. So I started asking myself, where exactly does this come from? So
Yeah.
there's a few questions that you ask yourself.
Yes.
Why? Why is
Yeah.
it coming up a lot? And that's the only way to then deal with that emotion and not actually rush that process
Yes.
of healing yourself.
That's right. And I think it's important to not just settle for the simple first answer,
Mm-hmm.
because it's it, the real reason is, if it's embodied in your mouth, then it's not easily accessible. And so the real reason will be a few layers down. You do have to asking why.
Mm.
Keep looking deeper. And the other thing I wanted to say about the story, and I'm so glad you shared that, because it's such a good example of how it's not just our own personal burden. It's like your relationship with white woman managers exists in a system of racism,
Yes.
and that we all live in. And particularly you live in South Africa with the recent history of apartheid, and of course that's going to not just trigger you to be inhibited or triggered in those actual conversations, but it will what's the word I'm looking for, kind of re-stimulate the whole history of your lineage
So,
of white women bossing around your mothers and grandmothers and aunties and great grandmothers, and for generations there's
so,
all that hurt that got laid in, had to be suppressed because it wasn't safe to express anger, right?
so,
And so that got held in the body and laid into the DNA that you've inherited. So you've inherited this pattern, which is then reinforced by the wider society and by the individual experiences and relationships. And so it's layers and layers and layers.
um,
And that Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad you said that because it went further. It wasn't just me getting that tape, watching what happened. I actually got an epiphany somehow regarding relationship with white women, how they were actually active in how heavily active they were in the processes of racism internationally, because the root of a white man, all they want to do is take care of their wives and take care of their mothers. So their mother's opinion is very important, and their wife's opinion is very important. And if if your wife says, I don't like that particular man, he's threatening to me, then that's how slavery essentially started. And I thought, oh my God, if and coincidentally, there's this whole Black Lives Matter going on, and in South Africa as well, there's some serious femicide going on. Coincidentally. So this is actually the root of what happened. Racism, it's just it was a white man protecting his own lineage, protecting his wife, protecting his mother. So it has always been about a white woman. Racism has always been about the white woman. And that is actually the depth of what racism is. And what when it played back, because I saw quite a few, it went back a few layers. Besides my experience, because I had my own experience, personal experience, and then I saw my grandmother's experience, and then I sort of went back to the original. I can't say really the original, but there was an epiphany of, okay, so this is what stands racism. It's this guy is just protecting himself essentially, but in a hateful way. And the instigators of racism would then be a white woman, whether it's the mother or the wife or the girlfriend, whatever. But they're essentially just trying to protect their territory. So if they see any type of, and that's just caveman mentality. If there's a threat, you protect and you kill the enemy. So how do you get rid of the enemy? You suppress it, you save it, take as much power from them as possible. So that's exact, and I think that's the root of actual racism. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for mentioning that. I have, yeah, I didn't know it was going to lead this way. But I'm appreciative. I'm grateful that it did.
Me
so,
too.
so we've spoken about how the healing process. I think my questions are actually done. So what we discovered is that teeth actually work as a storeroom, right? For minerals, ancestral traumas, family secrets, childhood struggles, suppressed emotions, and resistance to change. So how does one allow themselves to first step, a simple step. We are going through coronavirus and we are locked down. And a lot of emotions like anger, for example, resentment that has been suppressed for years and years and years coming up. And a lot of families, whoever that you're staying with, are basically anybody that you stay with, they're basically in danger because whatever that you're feeling at that particular moment is gonna come up and show up. And how do you then what is your advice on how to not really kill the person who's next to you because you are dealing with your own things? Try not to kill them. Try not to kill your loved one.
That's a good question.
How do you not kill your loved one?
Well, it's
rising up because you just stuck with them. You are stuck with yourself. You are finally, the world is finally quietening down, and you don't really have much to distract yourself. Now you have this poor person next to you, and they're getting all the heat. How do you do it gently what is your advice regarding that?
Okay. So, well, I think that's a bigger question than just dealing with teeth and gums. But what I will say is that what your mouth needs for you is not to suppress those feelings, for you to express them, but find someone safe. Like, get on the phone with, your best friend or your sister or your auntie or someone who will listen and not get all caught up in your emotions are real and have to be responded to in a practical sense, but someone who would understand that you just need to vent, and who will let you just vent and not take it personally. And that's probably not the person who's making you angry in your own home because they're in your face 24/7 for months on end, right? So we have phones, we've got Zoom. Talk to someone else, even if you hire a coach or do a exchange of listening time with a friend you find on Facebook, whatever. Find someone so that you can say the words. Now, if that's not possible, write them down. Do some journaling. Just write. Why do I feel so angry? Answer that question until your pen runs out. Then write the question again. Why do I feel so angry? Answer the question again, and just do that, because even though the verbal expression is a beautiful energetic release that's really connected, obviously, to the teeth and gums, writing it down can be really powerful too, because that is still an energetic release in a different way. It's still connected and it will make some difference. Doing the physical release that we were talking about, where you're doing the stomping and the shaking and the thrashing your arms, doing that without expressing the words of I'm angry and this is what I'm angry about, but doing the motions and just kind of making wordless sounds as you do them. Warn your partner or whoever you're sharing the house with is, I've got some strong feelings, I need to let them out. This isn't about you. Please don't worry or take it personally, but I'm going to go and do some stomping. It's an exercise. It's my qigong. Whatever you're going to put a boundary around the experience to make it safe for the other person that you're doing this over in this room or on this side of the room. If you're stuck in a room together, and I know lots of people are just stuck in tiny little apartments, then you have to create the boundaries with your words in order to get the space to do what you need. But physical movement, releasing whatever words are in your head, in your head, and I think it's so important to communicate with the people around you about what you're going through. They don't have to know the detail, but you can say, I'm experimenting with a new approach to deal with this problem with my gums, and I think it's got some relationship to suppressed emotions. So I'm going to try an experiment of releasing emotions, and I'm going to be doing it over here, and I'll do it for 15 minutes, and I don't want you to be bothered. Maybe, when they're asleep or whatever. Create some space for yourself to do that release, because it's the release, lets it out of where it's stuck in your cells. Letting it go, however you let it go, that's what you need to do. Yeah. It's not all you need to do, but it will definitely help.
It's a start. It's a good start.
Yes, a very good start.
Yes, those are actually much more powerful than the bigger things to do. Immediately when you start, that small step of acknowledging and then doing of the first step towards healing yourself. Whew.
Yeah.
Meliour, thank you so much. This was actually mind-opening, because there's some thoughts that I had even forgotten about, and experiences that I had forgotten about. And I am so grateful for your time. I mean, if there's one thing the most important gift one can ever give to the next person is their time. And I'm grateful for giving me your time. And yeah, just, you know, responding to the call from that girl from South Africa who,
Mhm.
yeah, who just stumbled upon this information and then you agreed. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate your words of wisdom and yeah, the steps. And I'm you know when you when you get a stamp of approval saying that you're not crazy, you're not the only one that thinks like this. You're not the only one that
Yeah.
thinks like this. And
Mm.
it's just it makes me feel better that I'm not crazy. Thank you so much. Really
And
appreciate it.
thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to talk to you. It's been such an interesting conversation.
I
Really,
know.
really enjoyed it. And
I
thank you
love it.
for inviting me onto your series and letting me speak to your audience. And if those of you who are watching would like to find out more about this way of dealing with oral health, go to my website, which is holistictoothfairy.com.
Mhm.
I've got lots of free resources there, including a masterclass called Listen to Your Teeth, which really goes into this metaphysical approach to teeth and gum healing in a lot more detail. So I think that people who have enjoyed this conversation will find that really helpful. So
No, definitely. I'll put a link of the website on the YouTube channel. I'll ensure that everything that assisted me, that led me to you, is up on the YouTube channel. Thank you,
great.
thank you, thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Great
All
to
right.
meet you.
It was lovely
Bye.
meeting you. Bye-bye.